Hi everyone, Elizabeth here. Well, the tides have slightly changed a little bit since my last video, and I just wanted to do a quick little video in regards to how the tides have changed. It's become a lot more interesting since certain persons' emails have been starting to come out into the media. But also, just as a brief recommendation, is to really start reading about Stockholm Syndrome. So because I live in Seattle, people think of this as like a progressive utopia. And I really believe when you start to look at the far left into the progressivism, there's a lot of different, not only mentality, but it's a certain narcissistic tendency that tends to be very common within this culture of people. Now, I would say the absolute far left is a good mirror image. On the opposite of the spectrum is the far right. Both of them are kind of in their own little bubble and world. They have hate in their own different ways. But the one thing I will say, because I've lived in the city for so long, over 10 years, is that I believe some of these people who are in this realm of a political party who don't believe in everything, especially because they're atheists, they don't believe in God or believe in a higher power. They don't believe that evil, I don't think a lot of them can perceive that evil can actually exist on this planet, because your physical eye is surrounded in modern society by all the glitz and the glamours. And look at how far we've come. We've made such far progress as compared to what we were in like 100 years ago or even in the medieval times. But I just don't think people can perceive that the people that they vote for, the people that they believe in, are actually the psychopaths and narcissists who are manipulating the very kind people on this planet who are highly eligible for having Stockholm Syndrome. And I would say that some people, I do think in that realm or community, do have some form of psychological disorder. But I do believe that there's just a lot of people who are just more gentle souls. They're liberal. They just want to be in a nice, peaceful world where everyone gets along. And so I don't want to trash anybody, because I do think in my own life, when I was really hardcore, super liberal, I actually knew nothing. I never read the news. I just kind of heard it through the grapevine, or maybe I saw a headline and I was like, yay, Obama, but I had no clue. And before I left for Germany, I was literally, because of all the spirituality that I was learning through the time, I kind of thought that we were moving forward in progress toward everybody holding hands around the globe. And I had a big rude awakening in 2015 when I moved abroad and exited my own comfort zone to realize, like, wow. I even remember in 2014 just like staring at the sun in Seattle. I was taking a nice walk on a beautiful day on Lake Union, and I thought, man, there'll never be another Republican president ever again. And I thought, wow, it only took me to get manipulated and lied to like so many times to really get it and to wake up once I saw that the Monsanto Act was signed by the Obama-Biden administration, and then seeing Monsanto and Bayer merge in Germany. I was like, wait a minute, this is the last thing that any liberal / progressive would really want. So I really do believe that the truth will come out. It will be exposed. It's fingers crossed that it's coming, but I do believe that a lot of people are going to be shocked. They're not going to know how to handle this little awakening. And I think a lot of people are just going to be stuck in Stockholm Syndrome, like they're just not going to believe it. And that's what psychopaths and narcissists do, is that they constantly keep packing lie on lie, and they keep twisting and manipulating things to where it kind of makes you really confused psychologically, because you have no clue what's going on. And so Stockholm Syndrome, I mean, yes, it's highly linked to like hostage situations and kidnappers, but basically what happens is that these people start to have positive associations to their quote unquote captors. And why this is, and a lot of them end up having same visual alignments as their captors. And that is what I think is really difficult. So for example, if you're a hardcore mask person and you see a president walking around with 2 masks on their face, you may still very well positively associate yourself with this person and not actually believe or see the bad in him. And that is, I think, the biggest part of psychopaths and narcissists and sociopaths, is that they're like psychic vampires that leech on to very empathetic people or to the more innocent, naive ones, because all you'll do is live up into this fantasy of just seeing their good side. Like, well, they're bad, but you know what? They have a really positive side. And that comes from being really naive. And you have to cut that out and realize that these people are horrible, horrible, horrible human beings. These are legalized mass murderers. Monsanto has been legally poisoning us for thousands of years. The FDA has been, well, not thousands, hundreds, or whatever, decades. The FDA has been legally poisoning us for many, many decades. So symptoms of Stockholm syndrome is that the victim develops positive feelings toward the person that's holding them captive or the person that's abusing them. So in this sense, we're under a lot of psychological and mental abuse. The victim develops negative feelings toward police, authority figures, or anyone who might be trying to help them get away from their captors. They may refuse to cooperate against their captor. The third one is the victim begins to perceive their captor's humanity and believe that they have the same goals and values. And so, you know, when you're talking about socialism and all this stuff, people are going to be really, really confused. So I think it's really important to just read up a little bit on the basics, the Stockholm syndrome, just so you kind of are aware, because I don't know if a lot of people are really going to realistically get it. If this does come out the way that many spiritual people want this to come out, the whole entire truth, it's going to be so ugly. We are literally living in the greatest sci-fi movie ever written, and fucking Fauci is going to be the greatest sci-fi author ever to rule this planet. And it's not even a sci-fi movie, it's the real world. So definitely read up on this, just so you know, because you know what, as a bleeding heart person, part of me is like, I look at people like the dark ones, whatever, and like I feel bad for them because they're so dark. It's like they have to live this life of lies, and it's horrible. And then, you know, you can continue to attach this pity and sympathy on people, and it's not healthy. At some point, you have to have a border and a boundary and cut it and say, no, you have no sympathy. Humans have been under thousands of years of abuse and slavery and everything like that. It's done. This is time to move on. Let's praise this new earth concept is somewhat real, and let's move on to a better future, because that's the part that's progress. It's life is organic. We are very interconnected to nature. Nature speaks to itself. Quantum physics, all that shit is progress. It's not the crap that's coming from the same people who are in this medieval cult abusing us psychologically like it's the 12th century. Forget it. The tides have changed. All right, have a great one. See you next time. Bye-bye.